It is Friday Fun Day. We have not 1, not 2, not 15, not 25, not 29, but 30 rounds of 3 dumbbell power cleans, 6 push-ups, and 9 air squats. So you might have heard me say this before, but this is a workout I planned on doing for a while now, so ever since we did the Chief, probably about 2 months ago. But obviously with the quarantine going on right now, we're just going to do a dumbbell variation of the Chief and just make it 30 rounds straight through. So breaking this thing down, it is going to be 50 and 35 for the guys. The rounds themselves will not take a crazy amount of time. Obviously, it's pretty low volume per round, but it's the amount of volume of rounds that's a daunting task here. So even though it's very easy to come out the gate a little harder than you might think you would, before you know it, about halfway through the workout, about 15 rounds in, you're like, oh man, I went out way too hot. In the last 15 rounds, you're just kind of grinding through. So start off a little bit easier than you might think you need to, and then once you kind of get past that 15 round marker, start settling in and try to keep that pace going. With the dumbbell power cleans, I was looking for you guys to stay unbroken here. That shouldn't be broken up at all. It's only 3. The push-ups is where it's probably going to eat up, especially the girls here today. Try to choose a push-up variation that you guys could do majority of these rounds, at least somewhere between 15 and 20 rounds, probably unbroken with. So if you need to modify the volume or modify like on a high in a box, do that. And then surprisingly, probably for a lot of the guys, the air squats are going to be way more taxing than you think they will be. So don't sprint the rounds. Stay steadily moving throughout the whole entire workout. Maybe try to choose a pace and try to hold on to throughout and maintain that. Some of the better scores will probably hover somewhere around that 17-ish window, give or take a minute or so. Overall time frame we're looking for you guys to fall into is going to be probably somewhere around that 22 to 25 minute time frame. If we're in a class setting, we'd probably make it somewhere closer to a 30-minute time cap overall, but a good overall average to follow would be somewhere between 22 and 25 minutes. And that is our Friday Fun Day workout. For this Friday Fun Day, you guys can start off at 3 rounds, not 2 rounds, 3 rounds. 10 dumbbell deadlifts. If you guys have a lighter pair of dumbbells, try to go a little bit lighter with it. If you only have like a pair of heavier dumbbells, maybe just go single side, but you'll do 10 dumbbell deadlifts. Dumbbells will hit on the floor on the outside, just like we're going to do a dumbbell power clean. Stand on the top and back down, 10 reps. You then from there going to do 10 reverse V-ups. So push up position, hop the feet in, hop the feet out, pretty straightforward so far. And then you're going to do 16 jumping lunges. So that'd be 8 per side, just a little mini hop at the top, switch in the air like so. If you guys don't like that, you guys just do a reverse lunge and do 8 per side there. Moving to activation, you guys are going to go through 2 rounds. You're going to do 20 seconds per side, single arm plank. So the way this will look, we have done this before, you're going to be on the forearm. The feet need to be somewhere about shoulder width apart, just give yourself a little bit of base, and the opposite leg can kind of be tucked in and go behind your back, doesn't really matter. But the biggest thing is keeping the trunk square. We're not kind of rotating like this. That's going to be more like a side plank. We want to stay neutral. It's a lot more difficult of a movement than a regular side plank. You'll do 20 seconds per side. From there, you're going to move into a 15-second bottom of a push-up hold. So you guys are going to hover off the floor. So you'll be like 2 or 3 inches off the ground, just hovering right there, keeping the elbows tucked in, belly tight and butt squeezed. If that's too difficult, you can go to the knees. That's fine too, not a big deal. You'll do 15 seconds there, and you'll do 10 goblet reverse lunges with a kettlebell or dumbbell, doesn't really matter. So you'll just basically lunge back, watch out for that dumbbell there, and back to the top. All right, and you'll do 5 per side. All right, and that is your nice little warm-up and activation piece. We'll do some quick mobility in just a second, and then we'll go over some WOD demo and extra credit. Pre-WOD mobility. We got a lot of push-ups going on. That's going to probably be the limiting factor for a lot of people today. So we're going to work on those pecs a little bit. You guys are going to do like a doorway stretch. We're going to do it on the wall here, just a demo. Now, if you happen to have a doorway, I'll say around your garage, you can use a doorway. That's perfectly fine. So what it's going to look like here is Kel's going to have his arm roughly about 90 degrees, give or take a little bit with that elbow. And then from there, he's going to kind of drive towards me and then start to turn away. So he's kind of driving that pressure kind of like at an angle from that arm, about 45 degrees roughly. So pressure forward and then turn. The more you turn, the more stretch you'll feel in that pec and the front of that shoulder. So 1 minute per side. And you guys are going to finish off with a little wrist stretch here. So fingers facing towards you, just kind of sitting back on the heels. And you guys will camp out there for 1 minute. And that's our pre-WOD mobility. Movement demo time, not a very highly technical workout by any means today. So we'll talk about the prescribed variations, and we'll talk about some different variations for you guys. So the dumbbell power clean, the dumbbells will end up on the outside of the feet, kind of like that hinged over position like you're doing like an RDL. And then from there, driving the legs aggressively, keeping the dumbbells close to the body, that front rack position. So it's kind of like a muscle clean. You could do like a little dip underneath it. I don't know if that's going to be needed today, but if you start to get too fatigued and the weight starts getting a little aggressive for you, you can do that little dip in there. That's perfectly fine. So you'll do 3 of those. Now, if you're going to do maybe a dual kettlebell variation, I don't know how many people are going to do a dual kettlebell, but we're going to demo it anyways, is you guys will go between the legs, all right, and then making contact. Now, this one, we got to keep the elbows really tucked in, and think about zipping up that zipper on your jacket and then punching through at the top. So what we don't want to see is the elbow flare up too high, all right, because that's where that slapping motion is going to happen, all right? We don't want to do that. We want to keep the elbows tucked in. Since we already have the kettlebells here, now if we only have one kettlebell or one dumbbell today, what we're going to recommend on this, it's really your call. You can do 1 or 2 options. You can do 15 rounds on one side and then 15 rounds on the other side, or you could do alternating rounds. You know, do 1 on your right, 1 around the left, back and forth, or however you want to do it. You could do 5, 5, 5, and 5. It's really your call, but we're going to say just do 3 on one side and then 3 on the other side, alternating rounds, or however you guys want to split it up. So if we're just doing the 1 arm variation, same concept, just 1 kettlebell into the body, keep the elbow tucked in, that front rack position, and back down 3. And the next round he may do 3 on his left, or however you want to do it. And then with the dumbbell, just same concept. Dumbbell's going to make contact on the outside of the foot, front rack position, and then back down again. Okay? So that is your dumbbell and kettlebell variations for the power cleans. 15-35 is prescribed. 53 or 35 are doing kettlebells. You guys should be able to do this unbroken. It's not a high amount of volume. That's not going to really be the biggie here today. Moving into the push-ups, this is probably where most of the gym will be hung up a little bit. Now, some of the guys that are better push-ups won't have too much of an issue today. So biggest thing here is with these push-ups is our movement standards. That means chest making contact, and only the chest making contact to a full locked out position. That is your 2 biggest criteria to meet today, is getting that full range of motion for each rep. Now, we're talking about movements, overall just movement quality. We want to keep the elbows tucked in, and the midline is going to stay tight with the glutes squeezed, so everything should lower at the same time, and then everything should come up at the same time. The biggest error that we'll see is that everything will go down at the same time, but then only the shoulders rise and the butt will kind of stay low. All right, we don't want to see that. So that is our push-up. And then lastly, guys, the air squat. With the air squat today, air squat's going to be a little tougher than you probably think they will. But making sure that we're getting full extension at the top for each rep. So hips are going to travel back and down, hip crease below knee, and back to the top for each rep. You should feel yourself slightly relaxed at the top. All right. Speed-wise, obviously going to vary from person to person. If we're looking for a faster time, you're going to have to move through the air squats relatively quickly. Now, if you're kind of starting to die a little bit, use the air squats as a break to kind of hear, and that way you can kind of get your heart rate back underneath you a little bit there before moving back into those power cleans and push-ups. Especially if we're struggling with the push-ups, use the air squats to kind of give yourself a little bit more recovery time before getting back to those push-ups. And that's our movement demo for today for you guys. Finishing off our week is we have 3 sets for extra credit. You got Zotman curls, so just a refresher on this one. You're going to do like a traditional regular curl. You're going to turn the palms forward and then like a reverse curl on the way down. You guys will do 12 reps there. If you guys have kettlebells and no dumbbells, just do a traditional curl with the palms facing forward. That's fine. You do 12 reps. If you only have 1 dumbbell or 1 kettlebell, just do 12 reps on one side, 12 reps on the other side. From there, you're going to do a side plank elbow touch. You're going to do 12 per side here as well. So we'll be in the side plank position. All right, on the elbow, feet stacked. He'll then bridge up. All right, hand on his ear. And then what's going to happen is he's going to rotate his trunk, make contact with the floor with his elbow, and then back to the top. All right, you'll do 12 per side. Now, if that's a little too difficult, what he could do is bend his knees, all right, and kind of, and come down to the floor like that, and then rotate as well. Okay, that's going to be a little easier than legs locked out. You'll do 12. From there, moving into some mobility, we're going to work on the wrist and the forearms a little bit. So you guys are going to do kind of like the back of the palm on the floor, all right, just getting the top of that forearm. You guys will camp out there for 1 minute. We'll then go fingers forward, all right, leaning forward. You'll do that for 1 minute. And then thread the needle, just kind of going back over this again. We've done this a couple times now, is remember kind of reaching that arm across the body His other arm just kind of be out in front like so. He's going to drive that chest directly down. You should feel a stretch kind of through the back of the shoulder, right through here. If we start to lean over to the side like this is where you won't feel the stretch as much. You want to keep everything as centered as possible. That bicep should kind of be in your throat as you're doing the stretch roughly. You'll camp out there for 1 minute per side, and that's the finish off our Friday Fun Day.